Hello, everybody, and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am TheOutbackAl.
I'm Yin&Jung.
I'm Chibi Noob.
I'm Envy Jitters.
And I'm CheerandCosplay.
And it's once more the Ides of March. We're doing
Yes, it
Oops
is.
All Caesars, and this time we have a Caesar that's actually a real-life Caesar, sort of, but not really. I guess the other one from last week also was, but
it's
not.
the Fate version of Caesar, like a lot of other Fate versions of characters.
Yes, so Caesar, but, you know, anime girl.
Waifu.
Yes.
Right.
Caesar's my waifu.
Cute anime girl Caesar.
Well,
Uh-huh.
cute's relative, but we'll get to
I mean,
that.
that's honestly all I really got from this show was Caesar is a waifu now. Specifically, Nero's a waifu now.
Yep.
Enjoy.
Yep. Feels like we're a little like too early for the fall of Rome, but you know, is what it is. So, who's seen this before, and who's familiar with Fate? I guess is probably the larger question.
Well, to answer your second question first, I am a big main time-like Fate fan. I've seen some of the spin-offs, but mostly with Fate, I generally focus on the main timeline, so the main Fate Stay Night route, and the anime that were brought on from that. As far as this show, I attempted to watch it when it came out. I dropped it after 2 episodes, and I watched the 3rd episode, and the action was cool, I guess. I have no desire to continue watching it, and that's coming from someone who likes Fate and some of the spin-offs.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Fate. I especially like Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night, but I've watched some of the other stuff too, a little bit here and there. But I never watched this one before. This is my first time.
I'm pretty much the same boat as you, so I'll just say that out.
I've only seen bits and pieces of, I guess, what we're calling like the main timeline, and I've seen a little bit of Carnival Phantasm because we watched it in Anime Club like a long time ago. But yeah, as far as familiarity, I only know stuff based on what you guys have talked about, so
I have zero familiarity.
Oh no, was this your first one?
Oh.
I mean, I did watch some Carnival Phantasm in Anime Club, but I did not care for it and stopped paying attention.
So you never
Fair.
saw Fate Zero in Anime Club?
Nope.
I think that might
Oh.
have been the year before CC joined.
It couldn't have been because I was there.
Well,
I
most
mean-
people, I'll just say this. Most people, we watched that. It was the second show that came on, and I forget what the first show was. It might have been JoJo, but I think people stayed to watch JoJo. They left when Fate Zero came on. Me
damn.
and a few other people were the only ones that watched it because I was enjoying it.
I
So,
watched it. I liked it.
That's a shame because like I think that's the best anime that they've had, but that's personal opinion on my end.
Yeah.
So this series, though, we should probably get into this. This is a more recent entry than Fate Zero and especially the original anime, Fate Stay Night from Studio Dean. Came out in 2018.
Yep.
And this follows the Fate Extra games as opposed to our main timeline kind of stuff that we usually see in, you know, Unlimited Blade Works, Stay Night.
It's all
that.
connected in some. The Fate timeline is more convoluted than the Kingdom Hearts timeline. Go watch Gigix videos if you want to try to explain the Fate timeline and how this is connected somehow.
Yeah.
But it'll hurt your brain if you think about it too much.
I don't think about anything anytime, so nothing really hurts me anymore. But
Yeah.
this, yeah, like...
I figured, honestly, if they started talking about the moon stuff, and I'm just like, okay, just turn your brain off. Just enjoy the aesthetics.
Yeah.
Because this is very much a Madoka sort of aesthetic kind of show with its visuals.
No, it is. It's made by...
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But I'm just like, it reminded me of that a bit more than like any of the pieces that I'd seen in the previous entries. that
Yeah,
I
the previous
saw
ones
bits
were
and
not
bobs of.
Shaft.
Yeah, no, it was Studio Dean did Fate Stay Night and then an Unlimited Blade Works movie back in the day, and then Ufotable's pretty much done all the other stuff since then.
Okay.
And then this with Shaft.
Except Fate Apocrypha, I forget which one.
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But this game, or the Fate Extra, is based on a dungeon crawler video game. So I don't know how much story was put in the original PSP game, but
Hard
I guess
to say.
I can.
But yeah, so we have different continuity, different game style, different thing, different adaptation. Basically, take it as it is. And that's kind of how I went into it whenever they start getting into their vague lore dumping early on in these episodes. I'm like, this is not the main continuity, so I don't technically have to worry about any of this. So I took in what I could and just let the rest just wash over me.
And yet they'll use some familiar characters like Ren.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I was concerned about it, I recognized Ren, but I'm just like, I'm just taking this as like, this is an alternate universe. So she's allowed to be here.
Yes, this is Temu Rin in the same way that this is Temu Saber.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Well, just remember though, this is Red Saber. Saber from Fate Apocrypha is Saber of Red. There's a difference.
Yes. Big
And?
difference.
It's just a meme in the Fate community because all the Sabers look alike. Like they use the same basic face model half the time.
Yeah, I don't know why, but
I mean, when you got a winning design, why change it? You know what I mean? I mean, even Joan of Arc was kind of based on Saber a little bit.
right.
But, yeah.
That makes it really confusing for someone who isn't. They all have like the same name or title and the same face, but they're not the same person.
The same hairstyle,
Yes.
even.
Yeah, for the most
They
part.
totally do that on purpose. It's like in Fate Go where they have Ishtar, but it's the same design as
Yeah.
Ren. So it's
I
like,
mean, again, you got a winning design. Why change it? Cece, to your thing of they're all called the same thing. Technically, they're not. When they refer to them as Saber, it's a title, because that's the class that they are for the kind of fighter. Their name isn't actually Saber, but you don't want to say what your actual historical name is in this universe, because if you do, then other people know what your story is, they might know what your powers are, and you're kind of trying to keep an advantage over your opponents as much as you can. So if they don't know your story, they don't know your powers, they don't know what you got packing.
Yeah, so it's like you're rolling Among Us.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like one of those things. It's like, and this is like an old folklore sort of thing where it's like if people know your true name, they can hold power over you. So it's kind of going into that a little bit.
In a sense, but
That's how
less,
I always thought of it.
Yeah, but less in a magical power over a being and more of a, I understand what your strategies are going to be. Sort of a Sun Tzu, know your opponent kind of deal. But yeah, so the plot is not easy to explain here. When is it ever? But, you know, here it seems extra difficult because this is not our normal Holy Grail war. Normally it's just, hey, every couple decades, 7 mages summon 7 servants to battle till only one team is left, and then they get a wish from the Holy Grail. That's an overly simplified version of what a Holy Grail war is, but essentially that's all the main beats that you need. This is not that, but also is that. I think we're in the Matrix that's battery powered by the moon.
Yep, that sounds about right.
And we're going through the 7 layers of hell, a la Dante's
Yep.
Inferno, but going upwards. So is this Paradiso instead of Inferno? There's only 13 episodes. I feel like it's going to be very difficult, but also it's a video game with bosses on each level.
There's 9 circles in hell.
So is there 7 circles in Paradiso? I'm forgetting my Dante.
There are 7 levels in Purgatorio.
Okay.
And then I'm trying to remember how many heavenly spheres we have to go through in order. No, it's 10. That's 10 for
Okay.
Paradiso.
Okay, cool. So if my Dante reference is making sense, and if this is what they were somewhat basing it on, high school is hell, and then we get out of high school, and we're in Purgatory.
Yep.
And then we have to get to the moon
Yep.
through an elevator
life
system.
The moon is the first of the heavenly bodies to get to.
There you
heaven.
go. And that's where the big boss running the whole moon sphere is.
And that's all based on the geocentric model of the universe.
Exactly. We're mixing a whole lot of different things here, which on the surface, all the like aesthetic choices of like, and the, I guess, thematic choices, I'm down for. I don't think we've had a Dante's Inferno, or in this case, Purgatorio adaptation, so why not?
I mean, honestly, like, again, what I said, like, very at the beginning of this, pardon my words, I can't word today. I definitely like the aesthetics of this quite a bit. It's very surrealist. Kind of, again, Madoka vibes, also somewhat Utena vibes, maybe a little bit. I don't know. But, yeah. It's a pretty show.
Yeah. Very Shaft, and I almost feel like I should have looked up that this was a Shaft show beforehand. I would have made bingo cards for all the Shaftisms that we would get. Head tilts, close up on the eyes, random wide shots of your very pretty scenery.
The silhouettes.
A character is voiced by QB, you know. Dub or sub for everybody?
Sub.
Yeah.
Sub.
Chibi, I think you might have missed out a little bit, because Saber is voiced by QB, and the whole time that's all I could hear, and I was thinking, so this is what QB's like if they had human emotions, or were discovering human emotion.
A thought?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know, Pervy Saber is weird for me. It feels wrong, and I'm just like, I know it's not Saber,
It's a different
but it's
character.
It feels weird when they're horny.
It's not Artoria.
Given who this Saber is, I'm like, I guess I would call it erratic behavior kind of makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know my Roman lore too well. Who was Nero in relation to Caesar? Was he like the successor?
No,
or...
that was Octavius Augustus. This one was further down the line, and Nero was fucking crazy.
Yeah, he's the one who, legend has it, he played a fiddle while Rome burned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's who we're dealing with here.
Yeah, well,
honestly,
Emperor had a lot of fucking crazy Roman emperors. Nero is definitely one of them.
I mean, he ain't Caligula, so, I mean,
No.
Yeah. So,
It couldn't get worse.
Apparently Caligula is in this series.
Ah.
Well, I don't know if he's in this show.
I wouldn't doubt it.
But he is a fate servant somewhere. I think he's a berserker. Makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's difficult to say what happened in these 3 episodes. We went and died in a high school. I say we know that the main character is just a self-insert. And
very white bread protagonist.
Oh yeah, and like he's very like middle school main character coded with I hate everything. Everything is pain. And then we have like no other real personality for him.
Yeah.
So,
he's just an edgy boy.
The edgiest edgelord that ever existed.
Oh, he's gonna cut himself on all that edge. But yeah, so
at least Shiro had a personality to him.
Yeah, for as little as there was. I'm sorry, I know you're a fan of him. I like his dad better.
Well, I mean, that he was just. I'm not going to get into it now.
I know it's a much longer conversation, so I'm sorry for
There's a lot going on with Shiro.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have picked at that, but yeah. So we have this protagonist. What the hell was his name?
I don't remember.
Hakumo?
Hakuna Matata. Gotcha. And
yes.
He's with Caesar. I'm going to call him Caesar, not Saber, because the whole reason we watch this show is because we have a Caesar. And yeah, they're trying to fight their way up through, I'm going to call it Purgatorio for now, just because I know it's like the Stratos, yada. They have their terminology for everything, and that's great. The serifs, yeah, sure. Or something.
That's a font.
Yeah, well,
Also,
it's a type of font.
Also what you would call an angel. Also what is in the Bible sometimes called a snake.
Yeah.
Too many things.
So yeah, they gotta fight their way up through these 7 levels. Each one's gonna have a boss. Probably a master and a servant. I mean, it has to be. It's a Holy Grail war. Sort of, but not really. But is. It's weird. And the first one was Shinji, because it's always Shinji. And Shinji always sucks. No matter what. I have never, someone in the comments tell me if there's any anime that has, an actual likable character named Shinji. I don't think it's ever happened. But...
Well, especially with Fate, Shinji.
Oh, he's the
worst.
It's always tough, because I don't like Shinji from Evangelion, and he's the Shinji. But God, this Shinji, he always sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some are worse than others. Like this appearance of Shinji is tame in comparison to the Heavens Feel Shinji. Let's just say that.
Yeah, no. I buy that, because I've seen Shinji in Unlimited Blade Works and some other places, and he sucks in every timeline. But yeah, relatively tame here, for the most part. And their servant is Sir Francis Drake, who, because we need more waifus, is also waifu here.
I love her design.
Yeah.
She looks fantastic.
I just wish
Yeah.
they would have had a pirate accent.
Yeah.
It, at least in the dub, it was a little difficult for to hear such a normal sounding voice say "me hearties, scallywags, and whatnot." You should have gone full pirate with it. I mean, you only have one episode you're really in. Might as well.
I mean, to be fair, Francis Drake was Spain, or was he English?
He
or
was
Spanish?
English.
I can't remember. Okay, so I don't know if he would have a pirate accent.
That's where the pirate accent comes from. It's like, I don't know. It's a combination of a couple of different things, but like, yeah. So, I'm trying to think about what to talk about here. Because it's very difficult to talk plot stuff because we don't entirely know what's happening or what's going to happen, but we also know what has happened a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the second and third episode kind of states that Shinji, you thought, was creating a utopia for people who don't want to participate in the war anymore. I just was like, yeah, just live here. But then it turns out, oh, nope, it was all an illusion.
I mean, everything is kind of an illusion, I guess. We are in the Matrix, so...
Yeah.
But I guess...
Yeah, I mean,
it was like the whole setup for that was like they go up here, and if you give us your servant, we'll break them down into material to keep the rest of the city running and that, and you can just live happy and do whatever. And if anyone's seen the end of the 4th season of The Good Place, you know that doesn't always end well. But yeah, so what do you do with just endless partying? You get bored, and everyone was like kind of done with life. But NPCs are important because we are definitely in a video game.
Mm-hmm.
So is this technically an isekai?
No.
The definition of isekai changes every year, so
Okay.
I mean, maybe if it's to another world. I mean, that's the definition of an isekai.
I mean, if they're in another world via the Matrix, I mean, Sword Art Online is an isekai in the same vein. So.
Because, I mean, it isn't it because, you know, people say, is Inuyasha an isekai? Because technically they don't go to another world, they just go back in time.
No.
So
It's definitely a time travel show.
It's time travel, but also it's kind of portal fiction at the same time. Because it's like you're going through a portal to another world, quote unquote.
From the perspective of the servants, is Regular Fate a reverse isekai?
Well, that depends, because the way that the Servants of Fate work is that some of them are based off of historical legends, some are based on his actual people that existed, and some are just completely made up. Because, spoiler, the main archer from Fate's Day Night is an original character. So it all depends, really. So,
But yeah, but that's also with a lot of like weird, crazy, all time is an illusion sort of issue. But
so I would say no to the people that were actual historical people. Like Gilgamesh is the main writer in Fate Zero, and he was a real person, so it's time travel for him.
Archer,
but then
yes.
the people that are Gilgamesh. Yeah, right.
Ryder was my favorite character in that. I know that. Yeah, that's a different character.
I forget who. Yeah, Ryder was who the fuck? Alexander the Great. That's who it was. Yeah. And he was another person that existed, so I would say that's more time travel, like Chibi was saying. So I guess the people that are legends, because I know Robin Hood's a servant at some point. I know
Hercules.
Hercules, they're legends. So I guess if you consider, legends coming into the real world, isekai, I guess that works.
I mean, I think it really all depends on how much the legendary figures are actually based on real people. So there's always that sort of perspective to look at.
I mean the main saber of Fate, like the face of the franchise, is based on King Arthur, and people debate whether or not that was a real person or if that's just entirely historical. So
I'm sure the name is real, though I would imagine almost all of the legends are completely made up at this point.
Yeah, anything that's like not from like 6th century CE, I'm probably doubt is like actual historical fact.
Yeah, so.
Can we pause for a second? Did you say reverse isekai?
Yeah, reverse isekai. Like Devil is a part-timer. A character from the fantasy world comes to the real world.
That's a good one.
Is that not just an isekai to them, though?
Yeah, but for everyone else, what is that?
But just remember, CC, human supremacy. Earth supremacy. That's why everything revolves around us.
Yeah, we're the perspective.
All right. Okay, another example is Dokuro-chan one then?
Shut the fuck up. We're talking about fate.
Everything goes back to Dokuro-chan.
Yes, you would be right, CC.
I see. Okay.
Okay, so what to talk about here? We have a main character we know very little about other than they have the dead face, which, I don't know. It's still very, like, edgelord middle school stuff, I guess. But at the same time, the rest of the show seems kind of interesting.
She always calls him performer, and I don't know why. Is it like that in the Japanese?
It is, and I want to say maybe that's more of a thing to do with Miro, personality-wise, rather than Saber herself.
Wait, I was wondering if it has something to do with the guy, the protagonist.
No, she calls the other masters performers as well.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Maybe it's like they were emperor, so everyone else is their entertainment.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of how I thought of it.
She clearly has an ego trip going.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
But, I mean, how could you not when you're a Caesar? So, how do we feel about Caesar?
She's annoying, but she's cute, so I say no stab.
No stab. Okay.
I like her a lot. No stab.
Very clever way to put it.
I'm uncomfortable with this one for some reason, but I guess they're not bad. It's, you know what? It definitely shakes up the normal formula for the Saber.
I think
for the
she's
most part.
fun.
It's a little weird. Again, I just have trouble looking at that face and it's like, why are you so horny? This is weird.
I'm a little thrown off by the fact that she looks so peppy all the time, considering the fact that normally her sprite looks so serious.
Yeah.
I abstain. Because
You're not...
I don't know enough about her to really give judgment, so...
You're not on the stab train yet, but you'll go to the meeting with Brutus and Cassius.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so far, I'm trying to think of, like, what's really there to talk about here that because it's difficult. This is going to be a short anime, but at the same time, like, I'm saying, it's piquing my interest so far, at least with how different it is from the normal Fate shows that I've watched and like the normal setup in that. I am interested to see where this is kind of going. So it's catching me on that much. The art style is taking a little bit to get used to.
I think I like the style, kind of like what Chibi was saying, and like some of the backgrounds and like the Madoka-ish aspects of it.
Yeah.
But I really don't like their faces. I don't know.
She got that turtle mouth.
Yeah, and the highlights on her hair bothered me. They just don't look right. Like, I don't know. Like, I find, like, everything in the background and, like, the general stylistic choices cool, but their faces just bother me, and I'm used to it looking like Ufotable, so it's just, like, confusing to my brain.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just their attempt at, like, sort of making things a little bit more cutesy, considering how her personality has shifted a bit. But yeah, everything else looks fine. I do hate the turtle mouth. It's weird.
Right.
Personally speaking, I have no problem with the art and animation and even the voice cast. It's just, for me, the plot and the setup of this world is just a little too overly complicated for me personally. Like, I'm just used to the basic, you got 7 servants, and they're all fighting for the Holy Grail, and that's it. And even with Fate Apocrypha, it was 2 teams of 7. Simple.
Yeah.
But here, it's like joining the world with the moon and the Matrix and all the wimey-timey, jimey-blimey. It's like, just, why?
I mean, I guess it's because I haven't really watched a whole lot of stuff in this franchise, but I'm kind of sort of following, like, the trajectory of what's going on. Mostly because I don't have the already known information, but it sounds like there's probably more servants and mages out there than the normal 7.
Yeah, instead of
what I'm gathering.
Yeah, instead of a 7-on-7 battle royale, it's more of a MMORPG.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. They're in a computer.
Yeah. I get the feeling. This is not necessarily a good or a bad thing, but I get the feeling that this anime was kind of made for people in mind who've already played the game. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't need large explanations of what's going on because you played this, so don't worry about it. Part of it is the mystery. This is kind of keeping me interested a little bit, but part of it's also like, why is so much different? Which is probably what they're going to have to explain by the end of it. And I don't know. There certainly feels like there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And at the very least, if we're basing this on like how it went in this first level, I feel like each episode is just going to introduce a new master and servant to beat. So we're guaranteed some good fights here and there, because the animation for the fights and everything like that is pretty decent.
If you think about it, the original Fate Stay Night was a visual novel, so you had 3 different routes, hence the 3 different heroines, whereas this was based on an actual moving action video game. So yeah, like you said, every level is probably adapted in some way.
Yeah.
I just feel like with that format, it might not give us enough time to care about any of the other servants or any of that stuff that's going on. Like, I was really getting into Drake, and then they killed her off, like, in 2 seconds, and I just think, I don't know, it just doesn't give us enough time with the other servants as the other Fates did.
I feel like that's kind of the point, though, is if it's more like a video game, like a dungeon crawler, like, you're not going to spend a whole lot of time with your big bads because you're trying to get to the next level.
I guess, like,
kind of how it is.
I guess,
but
like,
I get it.
To me, that, like, works in a game, but it doesn't work in a show as well, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, aren't they, like, an 8-episode season, though?
10. And then there was 3 extras, I think.
Okay.
Yes.
But yeah. But, like, the regular series, again, we're comparing it a little bit, but, like, it's kind of like, it's not really like a level-based system. It's like, it's a battle royale. So it's a free-for-all sandbox kind of thing, situation, if we're going to at least describe it like that. So people are fighting each other, or they're interacting with each other, or they're forming alliances. There's a lot going on.
You can see, like, the long-term strategies and everything, and it's just more interesting to watch. I just find this format to be just too basic and uninteresting for a TV show. Even though it is a short-form TV show, it just, like, makes more sense as a video game to me, whereas the other Fates, like, worked as a TV show to me.
Yeah, because you can have that little more story and get to know the characters that way.
Yeah, like, I care, you know?
Yeah, especially when they get killed off or something.
Right, but
like,
it's when they get killed off here, it's just like, oh, well, hardly knew you know?
Yeah, so it's not,
sad.
I mean, there's impact from that, but I feel like the impact's almost like, I wanted to know more about you, not I actually cared about you.
Like, it's disappointment instead of, like, tragedy or,
Yeah. Now, that could be different depending on how many episodes they spend on certain characters and other characters as it keeps going. I don't know if they would just, like, almost entirely skip over one level because it wasn't important and give more extra time to another
maybe
level.
that. Yeah, I'm just basing on what I've seen. I don't know if this actually continues the whole show or not.
Well, we've seen 3. They had 10, and then another 3, so I don't know what the other 3 would have been if they weren't part of the original 10 run. So if we assume there's only 7 episodes left of the main story, in which case that's a pretty long-ass epilogue, but then, yeah, we're only going to have, like, an episode per level.
Right, that's what kind of bothers me. I just don't really like that format very much.
Yeah.
Even though I think, like, these characters are interesting, and I like the designs, and I like the historical and legendary figures they're basing them on, I think it could be really cool, but I think the format kind of does a disservice to that.
Yeah, I mean, at least you're going to get to know Caesar.
Yeah, that's true. We get to know Caesar, and I like her so far, so that's a big plus.
I guess for me, I kind of also feel like this is a little bit more of a waifu sort of driven show. So they're going to focus more on your waifus than they are going to focus on other characters. But I think that's just kind of because that's the vibe I'm getting from the show.
I mean, this was a romance game in its original... Well, not this one, but, like, Fate Stay Night and all that.
Right.
So, yeah. I haven't looked up a whole lot of what's coming, because I'm going to be honest, I think I kind of want to continue this just to see where it does go, because it's so different than before. But, yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those, like... I don't know what to compare this to, but it's one of those, like, the cast is always the same, so you're kind of, like, waiting for the cameo kind of situation a little bit. Like, we already got Rin and Sakura was there, and Shinji's dead, thank God. I'm sure we'll see, what's her name? Ilya at some point, and maybe some other regulars, at least as far as the masters go. The servants can be literally anyone, so they're probably going to throw in whoever possible. But it also appears like some servants haven't strictly been used as servant master combos, and they've kind of been used more like pawns, like what we saw with the berserkers. Those are each individual characters that essentially have been stripped of their characters, and now they're just being used as NPCs. But I will be interested to see other cameos. We even got an archer cameo in the episode 1.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll be interested to see some of those. I don't know. What does anyone else have thoughts on this?
None that I haven't already stated.
I think, kind of like you, I would continue to watch some of it, at least for a few more episodes to see where it goes. And because I just do like Fate and the Fate universe and the characters and everything. So I would give it a shot for the rest of it. I'm not sure if I would get to the end or not, but I would definitely continue watching past episode 3.
Yeah, I think right now for me, it's a light yay for now, but that could very well change by the end of it.
Yeah, I'm similar. It's like a meh to a light yay. It's like in the middle of that.
For me, it's a meh. I just have no interest in this. Cannot summon the energy to care one way or the other. Like, it can be done well to withhold information, but they didn't make me interested enough to, like, bother sticking around to figure out what is going on.
Part of me really wants to show you Fate Zero.
That one's good.
Because it's so fucking good, but part of me is also like, are you gonna actually want to, like, watch it and invest yourself?
It wasn't that long, right?
No, it's like 26 episodes, but it's like, it is one of those, like, it takes a little bit, you're gonna have to invest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those shows where it's not, like, if anything, I would show her Fate Unlimited Blade Works first, because I think it's probably a little bit more more...
Okay, they do a little more exposition for the audience in that one. I will grant you that. That might be the better.
Well, not
intro.
even that, but not even that. It's more streamlined. It's more mainstream than Fate Zero, because I think, don't get me wrong, I love Fate Zero too, but it's definitely a lot more methodical of a show, and I've known people who tried to watch it and can't get past like episode 4 or 5 because they just don't like the slow burn of it.
Yeah.
Even though I think it pays
It's one of those ones that really builds. But
Yeah.
I'll admit the first episode or 2 are kind of slow because it's a lot of setup for characters.
Yeah.
But once it gets going, it goes.
I do have a baby brain and a short attention span.
All right, go with Fate Stay Night from Studio Dean.
No, Unlimited Blade Works.
They said baby
put her
brain.
on.
They said baby brain.
I mean, as someone who's one of their guilty pleasure animes is the 2006 Fate Stay Night, I would not recommend it for someone who's trying to actually get into Fate.
No.
So, I don't really have an opinion. I'm kind of intrigued, but at the same time, Saber is annoying enough that I don't want to watch it. For some reason, she's just really rubbing me the wrong way. And I don't know, it's one of those things where it's like, if you have like one of those upbeat, peppy characters, that like, if they just go too far into the upbeat, peppy, like, section of the little, diagram, I kind of am like, no, I can't stand this.
I'd be interested to see how you would like Mordred in Fate Apocrypha.
She's a very different character.
Well, she's also a very different Saber. But
Yeah.
like not like this different Saber.
She is a different.
Is she
Saber.
kind of like, describe character for me?
The main character from Kill la Kill.
Ryuko.
Ryuko.
You know what?
Ryuko, yeah, that's how I
I
would
could see it. I
yeah,
could see
absolutely.
it. She's somewhat
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
You might
Oh, yeah,
like
no,
that.
she'd be fine.
Plus her partner is a biker who does necromancy and shoots dead fingers out of shotguns.
That's fun.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah, like, I'd like that kind of character. I feel like from the little bits that I've seen of the regular Fate, I feel like Arturia is all right by me. I'm not put off by her. It's just, I think, like, the erraticness a little bit kind of makes me a bit like, okay, I'm done with the waifu now. I want to turn off the show. But that's a me thing. I don't generally like waifus in anything that I watch, so I hate Moe. You know this.
I don't know which score to give it because I didn't hate it. It just didn't interest me, so I dropped it. So I guess the highest I can give it is a low meh to a high nay, if that makes sense. Like, I don't hate it. I don't regret watching it, even though I'm not going to continue it. It's just not for me.
That's fair.
So I think we already covered who's getting stabbed and who's not. We're essentially not stabbing this Caesar.
Stab Shinji instead.
All right.
Fair.
Hey, I can get behind that.
That's what it all comes down to.
Yeah. All right, so this Caesar makes it. What happened to the last Caesar? They just weren't there enough for us to
Yeah, we
stab
couldn't
them,
even make a call.
So far, no stabbings.
They have not been stabbed yet.
All right, well, let's see if Caesar's luck continues, because next week we're actually going back to the real Rome. The real Rome with, Chibi, can you pronounce this?
Thermae Romae.
Thank you.
It's the Roman bathhouse anime.
Yes. I have no idea what we're in for, but God, I'm interested. And then after that, we're going to have JoJo Battle Tendencies with Caesar and all that. So I feel like I'm going to have to watch the whole thing just to get ready for that. I mean, I don't think there's a way that you can go into the second season of JoJo without watching all of the first season of JoJo. So I don't know about anyone else. I'm going to have to go and watch all this, which will probably be my first time sitting down to do it. So...
Really? I mean, you don't really have to watch part 1.
Every single person
2.
I've ever spoken to about this says I have to. So, you know what?
I think I'm gonna be fucked.
Yeah, well, who better to be fucked by than Joseph Joestar?
Oh, what?
Hell yeah.
Anywho, before I get into any weirder things to say, we're gonna call it here and come back next time for Thermae Romae with the Roman bathhouses. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoy this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series, Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!